Ever wondered what shocking rules Amish men follow that outsiders never see? While modern men complain about workplace dress codes and social expectations, Amish men live under strict regulations that control everything from their facial hair to their business choices. These aren't suggestions or guidelines, they're mandatory rules that determine their place in the community and their very identity as Amish men. Rule 1: Beard requirements. Modern men can choose to be clean-shaven, sport a mustache, or grow a full beard based on personal preference and style trends. Amish men have no such freedom. SUZAD, their facial hair is strictly regulated by community rules that determine their marital status and spiritual maturity. Single Amish men must remain completely clean-shaven, never growing any facial hair until their wedding day. Once married, Amish men must grow a full beard and maintain it for life. But here's the shocking part: mustaches are strictly forbidden. This creates the distinctive Amish look of a full beard without any mustache hair. The beard serves as a permanent wedding ring, publicly announcing marital status to the entire community. Failing to grow a beard after marriage would signal serious spiritual rebellion and potential excommunication. Rule 2: Work obligations. Modern men often complain about 40-hour work weeks and seek work-life balance through flexible schedules and vacation time. Amish men have no concept of limited work hours or leisure time. They're bound by community rules that demand constant productive labor from dawn to dusk, 6 days a week. Every Amish man must contribute meaningful work to support family and community welfare. This isn't just personal responsibility, but a religious obligation that determines their standing within the community. Laziness or refusal to work hard brings shame and potential discipline from community leaders. The work must be productive and beneficial to the community rather than self-serving or purely profit-driven. Physical labor receives the highest respect, with farming, carpentry, and traditional crafts preferred over intellectual work. Community leaders monitor work habits and can intervene if men aren't meeting productivity expectations. Rule 3: Technology restrictions. Modern men integrate technology seamlessly into their daily lives, using smartphones, computers, and electric tools without restriction. Amish men face strict technology rules that severely limit their access to modern conveniences and require careful community approval for any technological adoption. Personal electronics are completely forbidden: no smartphones, computers, televisions, or radios. These devices are viewed as connections to the outside world that could corrupt spiritual values and community unity. Amish men must communicate through face-to-face conversation, handwritten letters, or community phone booths shared by multiple families. Power tools face strict regulations based on their power source and purpose. Battery-operated tools may be permitted for essential work, but electric tools requiring grid connection are generally forbidden. Transportation rules prohibit personal automobile ownership, forcing reliance on horse-drawn buggies, walking, or bicycles for daily transportation. The shocking aspect is that these aren't personal choices, but mandatory community rules that determine membership eligibility. Rule 4: Clothing standards. Modern men enjoy enormous freedom in clothing choices, expressing personal style through fashion trends, brand preferences, and individual taste. Amish men must follow rigid dress codes that eliminate personal expression and ensure complete conformity with community standards. Clothing colors face strict limitations, with bright colors, patterns, and decorative elements completely forbidden. Most Amish men wear only dark colors: black, navy blue, or dark brown, creating uniform appearances that eliminate individual fashion expression. Modern conveniences are prohibited in clothing construction and fastening. Zippers, buttons on certain garments, and synthetic fabrics are forbidden in favor of traditional materials and fastening methods. Many Amish men use hook and eye closures or pins instead of buttons. Hats serve mandatory functions rather than style choices. Amish men must wear specific hat styles that identify their community affiliation and marital status. Footwear follows similar restrictions, with simple leather boots or shoes preferred over athletic footwear. Brands, logos, and decorative elements are forbidden, requiring plain, functional footwear that serves practical needs without fashion appeal. Rule 5. Marriage protocols. Modern men typically choose romantic partners based on personal attraction, shared interests, and emotional compatibility, often dating multiple people before settling down. Amish men follow strict marriage protocols that severely limit their romantic choices and eliminate many aspects of modern courtship. Courtship requires community approval and family oversight throughout the entire process. Amish men cannot privately date or develop romantic relationships without parental knowledge and community awareness. Every interaction with potential wives receives scrutiny from parents and church leaders. Marriage partners must come from within the Amish community or acceptable related communities with similar beliefs and practices. Dating outside the faith is strictly forbidden and could result in excommunication. This dramatically limits the pool of potential wives. Wedding timing follows community schedules rather than personal preference. Most Amish weddings occur during specific seasons, typically fall months after harvest completion. The marriage ceremony itself follows rigid traditional formats with no personal customization or modern elements. Post-marriage expectations include immediate establishment of separate households and beginning family planning without delay. Large families are expected, and birth control methods are generally discouraged. Divorce remains virtually impossible within Amish communities. Rule 6. Business limitations. Modern men can pursue virtually any career path or business opportunity that interests them, starting companies in technology, finance, entertainment, or any industry that promises profit and success. Amish men face severe business limitations that restrict their economic opportunities and require community approval for most commercial activities. Acceptable businesses must align with community values and traditional skills, eliminating most modern service industries and professional careers. Farming, carpentry, furniture making, and traditional crafts receive approval, while technology, finance, and entertainment businesses are strictly forbidden. Partnership restrictions prevent business relationships with non-Amish people in most circumstances. Amish men cannot form corporations, enter joint ventures with outsiders, or participate in business arrangements that might compromise community values. Success limitations prevent businesses from growing beyond certain sizes or becoming too profitable, as excessive wealth could create pride and separate successful men from community equality. Location restrictions require businesses to operate within or near Amish communities, rather than expanding into mainstream commercial areas. Marketing and advertising face strict limitations, preventing modern promotional methods that might create vanity or competition between community members. Compliance with these business rules is not optional. Community leaders monitor commercial activities and can force closure of businesses that violate community standards. Rule 7. Education boundaries. Modern men pursue education as far as their interests and abilities allow, earning college degrees, advanced certifications, and specialized training that enhance career prospects and personal knowledge. Amish men face strict educational boundaries that deliberately limit their learning and prevent exposure to ideas that might challenge community beliefs. Formal education typically ends at 8th grade, regardless of academic ability or intellectual curiosity. Amish men cannot pursue high school diplomas, college degrees, or professional training that would separate them from agricultural and traditional work. Curriculum restrictions eliminate subjects that might challenge religious beliefs or introduce worldly ideas. Science education stops before topics like evolution, advanced physics, or modern technology that conflict with traditional worldviews. History education focuses on religious heritage rather than broader cultural developments. Reading materials face strict censorship, with secular books, magazines, and newspapers generally forbidden or heavily restricted. Religious texts and practical manuals comprise most acceptable reading material. Higher learning institutions are completely off limits, eliminating opportunities for intellectual development and professional training. Universities, trade schools, and certification programs are viewed as corrupting influences that would separate men from community values. Self-education faces similar restrictions, with community leaders discouraging excessive reading or learning that might create pride or separation from traditional knowledge. The shocking reality is that these educational limitations are permanent. Rule 8. Social interactions. Modern men freely choose their friends, social activities, and recreational pursuits based on personal interests and compatibility. Amish men follow strict social interaction rules that severely limit their relationship choices and eliminate most forms of modern entertainment and leisure activities. Friendship boundaries prevent close relationships with non-Amish people, even neighbors or coworkers they encounter regularly. While polite business relationships are acceptable, deep friendships with outsiders are discouraged because they might lead to worldly influences and questioning of community values. Entertainment restrictions eliminate virtually all modern recreational activities that other men enjoy. Movies, television, sports events, concerts, and similar entertainment are completely forbidden as worldly distractions that corrupt spiritual focus. Alcohol consumption faces strict community oversight, with some groups forbidding it entirely while others allow limited use under specific circumstances. Social drinking, bars, and recreational alcohol use are generally forbidden. Travel restrictions prevent recreational trips or vacations that might expose men to worldly influences or create desires for different lifestyles. Business travel may be permitted with community approval, but leisure travel is generally discouraged. Social media and modern communication methods are completely prohibited, preventing participation in online communities or digital relationships. Community social events replace individual social choices, with church gatherings, barn raisings, and religious celebrations providing approved social opportunities. Dating and courtship face similar restrictions, with approved activities limited to community-sanctioned events under family supervision. Rule 9. Religious duties. Modern men often treat religious participation as optional, attending services when convenient and practicing faith according to personal comfort levels. Amish men face mandatory religious duties that control their daily schedules, personal behavior, and spiritual practices, with no room for individual choice or interpretation. Daily prayer requirements dictate specific times and methods for spiritual observance, with morning and evening prayers mandatory regardless of personal schedules or preferences. These aren't brief, casual prayers, but structured spiritual exercises that require significant time and attention. Church attendance is completely non-negotiable, with men required to participate in all services, meetings, and religious gatherings regardless of weather, health, or personal circumstances. Missing church without serious illness brings community discipline and questions about spiritual commitment. Biblical study follows prescribed patterns and interpretations rather than personal exploration. Amish men cannot study scripture independently or develop personal theological opinions that might differ from community teachings. Confession and spiritual discipline occur under community oversight rather than private religious practice. Personal sins and spiritual struggles become community concerns, with church leaders monitoring individual spiritual development. Religious leadership roles carry mandatory obligations for qualified men, with service requirements that consume significant time and energy. Men selected for church positions cannot decline these responsibilities. Financial contributions to church and community causes are expected rather than voluntary, with community leaders monitoring giving patterns and ensuring appropriate spiritual generosity. The most shocking aspect is that these religious duties are lifelong commitments, with no option for reduced participation or spiritual retirement. Rule 10. Punishment systems. Modern men face legal consequences for criminal behavior but otherwise enjoy personal freedom to make lifestyle choices, career decisions, and social arrangements without community interference. Amish men live under comprehensive punishment systems that regulate every aspect of personal behavior and impose severe consequences for violations that wouldn't concern mainstream society. Minor infractions result in counseling sessions with church leaders who monitor personal behavior and provide correction for violations of community standards. These sessions aren't optional consultations, but mandatory meetings that can address anything from work habits to clothing choices to social behavior that concerns community authorities. Public confession becomes required for more serious violations, with men forced to acknowledge wrongdoing before the entire community during church services. This public humiliation serves as both punishment and warning to others while reinforcing community standards through collective shame and social pressure.